Grand Rising, my friends. Hey there to the most beautiful subscribers. And at this point, let's just give it there, excluding paradise itself, all known manners of reality and creation. We in there, y'all. If you're new, jump on in. The water is perfect. It's excellent. As we're gonna see, well, look, hey, the market's doing better. Of course, you're gonna be feeling a little bit better, right? 41,510 for the bitty bits, 3,025 for ETH. Binance at 416, Cardano $1.13, Solana $114, XRP 67 cents ish. Terra 55, almost $56. Polkadot 21.56. Doge almost 15 cents. Avalanche $78. Things are moving up. Shiba Inu 2274. Not as fast as some of the others, but it's picking pace. Solana's making great moves. You can see ETH in the past week. So things are looking up pretty good. What else we got down here? Anything? Sandbox, man, it's amazing that I think just several months ago this was at $1, less than $1 though. But here nor there. If you're new here, don't know how it goes down, we're always about that positivity and positivity being. You want to play it forward. Write something nice about someone who means something to you in the comment section. Forward them the video and say, hey, go look what I wrote about you on the internets. They will then take a look at what you wrote about them. I know the word is not internet but maybe you already know that. So anyway, the internet. And then they will say, oh, that's nice. Maybe I'll do that too. Eventually, everyone, eventually. Oh, sorry. Let's get into today's stories. New U.S. stock exchange will use the blockchain to track trading activity. The Boston Security Token Exchange gained regulatory approval from the SEC this week. In a nutshell, then we'll read a little bit from it. They're going to use blockchain technology to track the trading back and forth of stocks. They wanted to completely tokenize, meaning have the stocks on the blockchain as tokens, quote unquote, themselves to go back and forth. So there's people like, oh, they're NFTs, I hate them, they're just pictures of apes and stuff. In reality, it's the technology that's not being kind of picked up on. So, if you just thought the internet was dial up and didn't understand that it was more about communication around the world and eventually it'd be all terms, you didn't see the forest for the trees. You were so much in seeing the trees that you didn't notice, oh my gosh, it's a forest sitting there actually. So anyway, this week, America's first blockchain-based stock exchange obtained regulatory approval from the Security Exchange. In a filing, the SEC uploaded to his website on late Thursday evening, it said the Boston Security Token Exchange could use the nascent technology to offer faster trade settlements compared to a traditional exchange where it typically takes 2 days to settle a trade. And if you have any stocks, equities, that's what stocks and equity is the same word. If you ever traded them on like a Fidelity, you know that there's a certain time period for it to quote unquote settle, and they'll tell you settle cash and settle trades. So that's what it means. But this will be able to have same day or next day settlements compared to using a private blockchain offer a free market feed that would allow members to see their own trades as well as that of others on an anonymous basis, which they'll probably charge fees for access to, of course, as you can imagine. So they said, well, it won't offer members the option to trade digital tokens, meaning it's not a new venue for buying and selling cryptocurrencies. The exchange plans to potentially allow trading of stock tokens at a later date. Plan to exclusively focus on tokenized securities, but the SEC rejected those plans in a prior filing. So they said their goal is to create an exchange that eventually will look more like Coinbase than something like the NASDAQ or the NYSE. So keep an eye for BSTX in the future. The first use blockchain, or one of the, to use the blockchain technology in there. And this is big. Indonesia trading regulator approves trade in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, but not blah. So too long, didn't read Ethereum. I mean, a lot of these countries over in Asia, while there's been a lot of trading in Korea, Japan, China, not sure about Thailand, where it's at with that. Indonesia is a very large country, one of the largest. How large? 273 million people are in Indonesia, and now they're going to have, and it's heavily regulated also by the theocracy, not just the legal system. So crypto trading in Southeast Asia can range from commonplace to a religious crime. However, investors in Indonesia could soon trade cryptocurrencies legally. They reported that the country's trade regulator has issued a permit to trade digital currencies within the country, with over 200 cryptos been approved. Some like, Bitcoin, ETH, Tether, XRP, Binance, Polkadot, blah, blah, blah. There's a catch. They're going Doge, but no Shiba Inu, according to the list. So they've had like a criteria, supposedly a metric that they looked at. So said the announcement came days after the financial service prohibited financial institutions from participating in the trade. This was a significant blow to many. More than 7 million people in Indonesia are thought to hold cryptocurrencies. That's over 2% of the country's population. Several religious groups have also expressed their concerns about crypto, including which ruled that it should be banned unless it adheres to I'm going to butcher it. Hold on a sec. Sharia law, hopefully I'm not mispronouncing. Oh, I didn't say, hey, I'm not your financial advisor. I am not your medical advisor. I am not the advisor of where you should buy a home, real estate, or location development. I butcher words and thoughts a lot. You should read a lot and listen to intelligent individuals who seem to not have an agenda to feed you, but don't do your own research. You know what I'm saying? That phrase has been destroyed, like many a great things. But anyway, so yeah, they're going big with it. They're going big with it. So that should be a big thing for the cryptocurrency markets. Now we flip over more into the world. Hey, if you saw Russia's premier Vladimir Putin in China for the Olympic opening, then in Beijing. So it appears, I doubt he would go to war, while being in another country. Now, China and Russia are looking to stop NATO's expansion. Me as a staunch believer in the American way, I do kind of wonder, like, why are we still expanding as NATO? Didn't, the purpose of NATO was to stop kind of the USSR's communist expansion, and that was accomplished. So now it's like they don't have an enemy to fight, they create one, which we shouldn't do that. We should just, we can keep NATO. I don't even know, we can keep, maybe we can just practice and turn it into more of a peacekeeping force or a global reactionary help force. So there's a million things we could do. I have some thoughts about that. About some things where I feel like my lighting is off. I don't think it is. So I'm gonna hit this real quick. But anyway, it was a serious blow. Ex-Belarusian railways workers say officials downplaying consequences of cyber attack. So when I saw this, at first I was going just like, oh, okay. Because they talked about it with some people calling themselves the Belarusian cyber Parisians. But I thought, you know what? This is one of those things where you probably imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't have, and I hate to say this because, I don't want to give away our tricks, but I wouldn't be surprised if the United States or, the British NATO or any of those countries weren't involved in this to kind of just slow up and make it a little bit more difficult in case Russia was. There has been some leaks this week where the information has come out that Russia potentially, allegedly, was planning a false flag. And if you don't know what false flag means, it means that you fake an attack on your own citizens or troops, say the enemy did it, and then feel justified to then attack the enemy. Now, if this is your first time hearing a false flag, you've never heard probably the end of Operation Northwoods. And like anything I've ever said, Go read for yourself. And Operation Northwoods was a plan given to President Kennedy in the 60s. I believe 60s, maybe. Yeah, because he was, when he went in office, I think it was like 61. So it was in the 60s where the plan was to stage attacks on American soil and make it look like it was Cuba, and then give justification. And this was given to him by the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States military. If you don't believe it, look at it for yourself. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, false flags, these, propaganda, misdirection, all of these things will be used before war, during war, after war, at all times. That's why a lot of people don't trust the media, because, a lot of it is and sometimes it's even unintentional to try to sway individuals away. You could think you're doing it for the best of reasons. We saw that at the beginning of the pandemic, where if everyone just would have came out and said, hey, everybody, we just need to wear these masks, but try to give the really good ones to healthcare workers. Ours, we're just using it because we can't tell who's sick. No one knows if you're sick or not. So you just kind of you're trying to block stuff coming out of your mouth towards other people. So let's do that the best way we can. For just a little, hopefully for like a month or so. This is talking about in February, early February, late January, early February. Like, come on, of 2020, of course, 2020. And come out and, let's do this, and hopefully we can get a good handle on it early. I thought, like, man, if your boy was in charge, it would have went a lot smoother, dude. Just would have came up and explained to you about how everything worked, saying, look, and looking at it now, like, hey, do you know we almost cured the flu? That all these children don't probably have to die. So maybe let's, set up a system where the state level, we keep an eye on schools. And if children start to get sick, maybe we can start implementing masks in certain classrooms, or for the entire school, keep an eye on things. Maybe we can even get ahead of it and keep people from, missing work and all of this. Just be more healthy. Matter of fact, why don't we just have more health related activities? Get staff exercising, get staff losing weight, get everybody wearables. That's why we're wearable devices where they start tracking their what measured is changed. And so once you start tracking your body, your weight every day, your heart rate, how your sleep is going, you start to say, I need to, we will work on you loving you so that you take care of you. The super important things in the world to do. You can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. It's just not you're not giving your best. I'm sorry. Not to be, that person. But anyway, where we got from that. But anyway, we here with the, supposedly this railroad system was under attack, and it was messing up the ability for the, and they said they wanted to give a release of some 50 freedom fighters, political prisoners that were locked away. But I was looking at this and I was like, sometimes, what was that? What movie is that? Is it Kingsman? I feel like it was on something else. I read a comic book too, but I can't remember at the moment, where, the guy would keep the newspaper articles of what happened. I think that was in Kingsman as well, on the days of, other things. I think Kingsman took it from something, if I remember. I used to see it somewhere else, and then when they wrote that comic book, they took that from somewhere else about, keeping those, but I may be mistaken. Anyway, physicists report first creation of self-heating plasma for nuclear fusion. We're going to constantly hear about this. So, we like looking at new energy technologies potentially coming in the future. Quantum computing, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, mechanical material engineering, aerospace engineering. These are all things that I think we are at that cusp of making those grand advancements on. Like, history seems to happen in spurts. If you notice, you have a leap. There's a time where things are going almost like you see in stocks too, where you have a boom, boom, boom. Oh, hey, boom, we had we mooning. We had a rush, and then it kind of goes along, consolidates for a while, and then there's a rush. We've been consolidating from a technology standpoint, probably for about what? 40. So think about the invention of nuclear technology, computers, that advancement, culminating, if you say, really with, being, I don't want to say landing on the moon was kind of, if you really want to be technical, dog, the landing on the moon is probably a culmination of just like, hey, we did it. Because since then, we still jet technology, rocket technology from an aerospace standpoint. Materials gotten better. Computers have gotten vastly improved, but, we're still using solid state. We haven't gone off to, in classical computing, we haven't gone off to a completely different paradigm. My brain is like, so anyway, nuclear physicists are notching scientific advances for fusion energy, fueling hopes and billions in investments to create an energy source that doesn't produce carbon or nuclear waste. So we talked about we've been doing it, and what happened recently is that at the researchers at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, NIF, the National Ignition, I always butcher this, ignition facility, created a self-heating. Please just laugh at me, in the quiet of your own space. Don't have to tell me about it. Creating a self-heating plasma for the first time in a laboratory. So the self-heating plasma is significant because fusions now provide the majority of the heating. It is not quite producing. It hasn't quite reached a point. So, they've used a bunch of lasers at a point where it hits this trinium and deuterium, and then that causes this plasma to form that they're saying is self-heating. So it's starting to warm itself up. Almost, if you can, in my mind, I'm imagining it like it's almost like that little glob you see like in the movies that look like it's lit from inside, and it's starting to start. What once they want to happen is ignition, where it, and then it's a burning little sun that they're controlling in there. So they said that it's two approaches that they're using: the lasers, not specifically them, but deuterium. I think I'm butchering that, but I always have butcher things. They're using lasers, but other experiments are using. They said that are using magnetic fusion devices, using really powerful magnets to create intense pressures as they push down. They're probably also using lasers to ignite as well, but maybe probably using more of the pressure from the magnets, and because they both probably are also both using lasers and magnets, and the ignition facility is probably using more of the magnets to hold it in place, while the lasers, boom, hit it, with that jolt of energy, trying to give that shock to, and then hold that self-ignited plasma in place. So there are more than 40 private fusion companies globally. None of this is financial advice, which have raised over $2.5 billion in investments to date. Some scientists claim they will be able to deliver fusion energy technology within a decade. Others say it will be another 50 years. That is the bit of bet and speculation in all of this. Never forget. And also, never forget, I love you. You love you. God loves us. And that's all that matters.